Hello everyone, welcome back to some more Oxygen Not Included. This is going to be a remake of my glass power video. So I went back and reviewed that video and there wasn't any relevant information I felt. So I don't even know why I uploaded it. It's kind of a poopy video. So hopefully we can do a little bit better in this one. And I believe I have came up with a build that you can actually use in your base. Something that's, that's actually plausible to do. But first, before we get into that build, I've set up a little experiment here because I've been reading on the forums and in a few comments that you can use less hydrogen or less gas than my original build, which was 10 kilograms. But I know that if you do this, you have to use more steam. At least more steam compared to the hydrogen using. So I've got this room set up with 10 kilograms, and I've got this one set up with 2 kilograms. And total, we have 320 kilograms and 64 kilograms on this side. So I know that I can do a 1-to-1 ratio of water over here, and I think over here I need like a 1-to-4 for it to work. But I haven't tried less than a 1-to-1 on this side, so I'm going to try that. Basically, we're just trying to get the least amount of mass in here as possible, so we have to use less thermal energy to heat it up. But I am starting with exactly the same temperatures in here, as you can see, and exactly the same amount of magma at the same temperature. So we've got the exact same build we've got. So there's not going to be any temperature losses or temperature differences between the two. And basically, we're going to add the water. We're going to add 320 kilograms over here, and then we're going to have, I don't know how much, it's going to be 4 times this amount basically over here. And we're going to see which one runs out of water first. Or one runs out of magma first, rather. So I'll go ahead and do that off camera, and we'll come back with the results. Okay, we're back, and you may notice the cycle is 80 instead of 7 from where I started. That's because the original clip I recorded had some audio issues, so I have to re-record it. But I've reset the experiment back to the original defaults. All the temperatures are the same from when I first started, so we're just kind of repeating it here. And what we found was that the 2 kilograms of hydrogen did in fact use the less steam and less heat overall. In fact, we're just going to play it, let it go on ×3. There's not much of a difference right now. In fact, they're pretty much identical at the moment. But over time, this one will use up more because there's more steam that needs to be heated. So what I did is I added 64 kilograms to both of these at the same time. So I would pause and add 64 kilograms to both, and then I'd wait for them to spin up. This guy spinned up at a 1-to-3 ratio, so I added 64 kilograms 3 times before it balanced out and started running, while this one did not run at 3, which makes sense because there's more hydrogen. But it did, however, run at 320, which is exactly a 1-to-1 ratio. And that's after 5 times I'd add 64 kilograms. So that's kind of what I thought would happen, because I've done this one before. This one I was kind of experimenting with. But I was also wondering if this would work with less than a 1-to-1 ratio, and it does not. So this is definitely what we're going to be going with. There's less in here, which means we're using less thermal energy to heat it up, which means we can create more power out of it. Why is this one actually a lower temperature? Now I'm confused as heck. Maybe it's because I'm on like super speed. It looks so dumb. But I did do this experiment on cycle 7, like the first part of the video when you see me setting it up. I did let that run through, and I kind of let it run through as I was doing everything else, and I came back later, and I do show that part in a later part of the video, so just continue to watching and you'll see the actual final results of these. But I don't know why this is happening. It kind of makes 0 sense. This has way less to heat up, but it's already cooling down. I'm super confused. Maybe it might just be the super speed. Super speed sometimes messes things up, but yeah, the whole reason for us doing this is to try and get the lowest amount of mass in with the turbine as possible, the lowest amount of mass that we have to heat. um, for the glass forge, because the glass forge does not produce a ton of material at once. So that was the whole point of setting this up. Now we'll go ahead and move on to the full experiment and the main reason for doing this, which was trying to create a positive power from the glass forge and the heat that it creates. So we'll be right back with that. All right, we're back, and we've done all of our testing that we possibly can. We've tried all the different loops and conveyors and heating things, and I've come to the conclusion that probably a lot of people already came to. There's just not enough heat output from the glass forge to generate power. That being said, it can cover a lot of the cost of manufacturing the glass, which is nice. Well, this is with 2 glass forges running. I was just curious to see if I could get 100% uptime on the turbine if I had 2 glass forges, but I cannot. So we're just going to disable these because it's annoying me. But yeah, we cannot gain power from these. However, they almost cover the cost of manufacturing the glass completely. It makes it cuts it down by like, I don't know, maybe 80% or so. So that's a pretty significant amount of power reduction in the process of cooling the glass as well. Now, one thing that I discovered while doing this is, obviously I'm dripping the glass directly in here. Now, I came to this because this is the best way I'm going to get the most heat out of the glass. So I figured, you know what, instead of trying to transfer it through a tile, let's just drip it directly into the room. And ultimately this worked the best, which makes sense. One cool thing though is that you can stick a auto sweeper in here if it's made of steel, as well as a conveyor loader made of steel as well. Otherwise they'll overheat, and it will not raise past around 230, and the overheat temperature is 275, so this will never overheat. So essentially you can have this nice closed off room, and you can always get to your glass if you need it. You can have a clock sensor. I have one set up for nighttime, so it grabs the glass at night after it's cooled down to a point of around 600 degrees, and it'll shift it away. And then the new batch of glass in the morning would be around, I don't know, 900, 800, and it would slowly decrease over the day, and then we'd remove it again at night. So all in all, pretty good way of cooling your glass and reducing the power consumption as well. One thing I discovered that I want to kind of touch on, which I thought was pretty cool, is that you can actually stick one of these liquid reservoirs in a room made of abyssite with a vacuum. And let's see this. It will not increase the temperature of the reservoir, and the liquid inside it, the glass that is, will not decrease in temperature. As you can see, it's 1491 and it's not going down. So there's got to be some reason, you know, you could store up like this huge mass of heat if you wanted to. Obviously you wouldn't be able to use the glass, but it's kind of a cool thing that you can store really hot glass in here, because there's no other like liquid you can do that with that I know of, because you can't pump any liquid that hot because the pump overheats, right? So it's kind of neat that you can store the giant massive thermal energy in one of these reservoirs, and as you can see, it's not going up. It's like it's 20 degrees, it's staying there. Now, if you don't build these tiles out of abyssite, it will transfer the heat for some reason. I don't know how it works, but it will transfer the heat. We can actually see that if I do this here. We'll go ceramic. You can see it going down now. So we've got abyssite here, and then ceramic, and now the heat's going down. So I don't know if this is meant to happen, but it's definitely transferring heat. It's just that the reservoir itself isn't like transferring the heat, if that makes sense. Probably doesn't, but you get the idea. So that's kind of a cool little thing I discovered. So what we're going to do now is we're going to well, I already cooled these down, but we're gonna cool down the steam in here and see how much how much water is left, basically. So did I delete any? Did I gain water? That's what we're gonna find out. You can see over here that this is definitely more optimal. It's the 230 degrees and then 730. So we used a lot less thermal energy on this guy, which makes sense because there was less steam in there. But yeah, we'll be back with the final results. Okay, we are back. We've cooled down the steam. Time to do the calculations. Actually, I've already done them. So we've got slightly less steam over here. We added 192 kilograms, and we've got around 162. So we did lose some. This is pretty much the same, slightly more over here. And this guy, we actually lost a lot of steam. We added 320, and we've only got around 200. Was that 194? So we lost quite a bit of steam on this guy. Overall, I'd say this is worth setting up to cool your glass at least. Pretty effective method of cooling your glass, and you get a little bit of power as a byproduct. Actually, you don't get power, but you know, you don't use as much to create the glass, basically. So it's pretty cool, and it's not that hard to set up, and it also allows you for allows the auto sweepers to easily harvest the glass and move it around, because it's at a reasonable temp now, like 400 degrees. Still pretty dang hot, but definitely nowhere near 1700 degrees. So overall, can't get power from it, but very effective way of cooling the glass down. If you enjoyed this video, please hit that thumbs up. Leave a comment if you have any ideas on any other ways to run the turbine, or if you want to leave a picture in your comment of maybe a steam turbine setup you have, or any other setup really, that would be awesome. I would love to see those. But thank you for watching, and I hope you all have a wonderful day.